Meet Andrea, an aspiring entrepreneur with a big mission on her heart. She's a mom, she's a grandmother, and she is from the USA. And today's conversation unlocked for Andrea the reason why she spends money the way that she does. Money to Andrea represents three things. It represents a sense of belonging, a sense of acceptance, a sense of accountability and responsibility that Andrea has not been willing to face up until now. But this conversation created some real mental shifts for Andrea. And you watching this today, you are gonna get personal transformation from this as well, because it's gonna unlock for you the reason why you spend money the way that you do.
And she said, get this, and this. 3 things. Instead of me going and getting those 3 things, I get 6 things. The other 3 she didn't ask. I just bought them. I'm not gonna charge her for it, and I'm gonna make a beautiful basket. But that's what I do. And my family says, you just do a little bit too much. I always was doing too much. But I think that lends to the place of my identity in belonging or wanting to be loved that comes along with managing money and finances. When I'm doing it, I feel great because they are going to see that I really care and I'm showing love. And that's what I look for. But after it's all said and done, I sit back and reflect, and I don't feel so great because I know at the end of the day that I didn't have to do that to get validation. I didn't have to do that to get love and to belong. I really didn't. Whatever I do, even if it's on a smaller level, I believe anybody and everybody would have said thank you and would have appreciated it.
This is the Finance 101 show. Andrea is an entrepreneur based in the USA, and we do belong to the same entrepreneurial community. Right now, today, we're doing something a little bit different. Andrea has graciously accepted to come on here and share a different side of her story and get some help on certain elements that she has on her heart. So, welcome to the show, Andrea, and I'm here to support and serve you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Ida. It's been a pleasure just knowing you over the past few months and everything. And so I am honored to be here in your presence to talk to you about finances, which is something that I've shied away most of my life, but it's so needed to have the understanding and education on how to financially equip yourself in life, whatever that it looks like for anybody.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive into it. Tell me what's going on.
Well, as you told the audiences that I'm an entrepreneur, but I also still in my career. I'm a nurse of 38 years. I'm still at a place in my life where I need my income. I guess my question is that I bring this up is what can I do to help myself to transition out of my career and to be into the business world as an entrepreneur full force without worrying about my day-to-day financial responsibilities?
That's a great question. And I think it's something that a lot of people would definitely struggle with and relate to. I've been there, and I think all of this is going to fall under the umbrella of getting yourself ready financially so that you can make the moves you want to make. And it's about looking at your current picture, setting that goal for yourself. What is it you want to do? Having that big why for it, and now working backward from that why. Like, what is it that I need to start to do today to make sure that that goal I'm setting for myself can actually happen? And so I'm going to probably ask you some more personal questions so that we can actually help you in the way that you can be served. That okay with you?
That's great. Thank you.
Okay. So, do you currently do any kind of budgeting?
No.
Is there a reason for that?
Yes. I guess this stems back way back in my life. Being a single mom, 4 daughters, not having any financial support, child support, whatever the case may be. And the way I used to take the money that my income was, allowing me to do, I would just do it. I didn't want to look at the bills. I didn't want to have to worry about what that looked like and what it really meant. Because, when it's written down and it's on a budget, it shows you what you have, what you don't have. I didn't want to deal with any of that. I just wanted to do. By the grace of God, I was able to manage though. I was always able to have a job where I was elevated as far as my income. My kids always had what they needed and wanted. And sometimes that was some of my problem. I gave them more than they wanted than what they needed. It just stems back to my belief systems, and how money wasn't managed around me. I didn't see anybody but one, my sister, manage money in a way. But then the way I saw my sister manage money was not the way that I would want to, because it caused issues in relationships the way she managed money. It came along with the cost of the way she managed, and so forth and so on. So I just wanted to avoid having the stress of thinking about what I didn't have or what I needed and wanted and couldn't provide for. So I just like shut my eyes closed to it. Didn't want to put it on paper. And to be honest, when I finally started doing that, I started to just let the bills just stay over there and pile up. They will come. Now, don't get me wrong, I paid my bills, but
Hmm.
I didn't look at a strategic way to get it done and save. I never saved money in a point where I have it in abundance right now. I tell people all the time, if I would have been that person way back when, if you would have been there for me a long time ago to teach me how to manage money better and to save money, I'd be a millionaire right now.
I'm glad to hear that. You touched on a lot of points there and goes to certain mindset elements, which you clearly mentioned. How do you feel about money?
That's a great question. And I've often asked myself that question, and I really haven't gotten to the root of my feelings about money. One thing that I do with money is this: when I have it, I use it and I don't think about it. Whereas I'll put it to you this way: if there's somebody that has money and they are frugal, or they know how to manage the money in a way that they don't overspend, such as you shop according to sales. What's a bargain? What can you get the same item for a less price over here? That's just too much work for me. I just never tried to do that, but I probably should. And so, but if I have money and I want to go buy a gift, I just buy the gift. I don't look at the price. I see I like it, I just get it. If it's 200 and I can get it for 50 somewhere else, I'm not trying to find that avenue. It's just I don't really understand. It's just like money's here for me to just utilize and just use it, and don't try to worry about anything else.
Without actually thinking of whether or not you can afford it. If you physically have the money, you just spend it.
Absolutely. And think about it after the fact, and then the repercussions come up at me at the end of the day. Okay, example: I am 63 years old, ready to retire, but I have no retirement plan. That's scary for anybody. And I do kind of sometimes feel a regret that I haven't been a better manager of my finances, because God has enabled me to have income and to have it in abundance where I could save. But now I'm in a position to be able to. My kids are grown. I've got 19 grandkids now. But over the years, I used to do the same thing. I help, I give. I help, I give. I help, I give. But I don't help and give in a way to support Andrea for her retirement. That's one of the things that is bothering me right now.
You mentioned about your sister, how she handled money and how that impacted the way you chose to handle money. You want to touch on that? How did she handle money?
Sure. My sister has always been very mindful of how she spent money, despite how much she has money. She's been positioned in a way where she had real estate, bought and sold property, and she managed her money where she saved it in different areas. Right now, she will go to, where is it? The places that you go that you can get stuff for 25 cents.
Like Aldi?
Not all these, but Goodwill,
Okay, okay,
things of that nature. She shops there.
okay.
Even though she can go into any high class, high ticket store and buy what she wants because she has the money, she chooses not to. And so money to her was different for her growing up. We didn't have much when we were growing up. So she took it in a different sense. But with that being said, she looks at everybody else. Sorry, sister, but you do. You look at everybody else and frown down when they utilize their money the way they want to and not the way she feels that they should.
Okay. And how does that make you feel?
It doesn't make me feel really good, but after I've gotten older now, watching how prosperous she is and able to do whatever she wants now, I wish I had that mindset back then. Yeah, I really do.
Wow. You mentioned being scared, which you probably should be. Do you have debt?
No. The only debt that I have is my house and my car. So I'm debt free. I don't have any credit cards. So I've gone through, and actually, my sister helped me to do this. I've gone through to eliminate all of that debt that I used to have because I
Hmm.
did have debt. With my kids and grandkids, I had debt. But I am debt free in that area. And I lend that to her helping me to get to this point. That's why another reason why I really want to talk about it. So
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So on your car, how soon are you planning to pay that off?
it'll be paid off in 3 years.
How much do you pay for it on a monthly basis?
536.
536 a month.
Yeah.
Okay,
See, that
that's
goes along,
kind of high.
yeah, because that goes along with that APR that you get when your credit score is not that great. So stores see you coming and they can hike up the prices and use that against you.
What's your APR on
Unfortunately,
the car?
14%.
That's insane.
I know. Tell me about it.
My goodness. And you can't reduce that? There's no way to
No,
change it? No. I guess the only way
no.
to save on that would be to figure out a way to pay off the car faster so you don't have to pay the full interest on the remaining 3 years of the car.
Yes.
Okay. And for the house, how many years do you still have on it to pay off the mortgage?
27. Because I refinanced. I've been here 9 years, so I recently 3 years ago refinanced and went with the new company that they sell your mortgage all the time to new people, and so when they came in, I refinanced with them and was able to get some equity out of my home to pay off my debt.
Okay. Refinancing is usually not the best, but if you use that to pay off the higher interest rate debt, then I'm not going to frown at that, but it's usually not a good option
Yeah.
to do it. Okay. So right now you currently work. You're currently still employed.
Yes.
So you got good income coming in.
Yes.
And but you don't budget. So
I
we don't know
don't.
how much you can actually put aside on a monthly basis to meet those goals that you want to do as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So about 2 weeks ago, I pulled out a journal. I marked down all of my responsibility as far as debt goes, electric bill, all the utilities, food, gas, all that. And I wrote it down and I put down every month the dates that it's due and how much is due. I put down how much my income was, and that's where I started and stopped. For some reason, that is a problem for Andrea to just put it on paper and deal with it. Even though I know I have more income coming in than going out, there's something that's holding me back from dealing with it.
What is that?
Again, it goes back to whatever is my beliefs that I might not be looking at on a deeper level and the habits that I have occurred over my lifespan.
Are you afraid that looking at the picture of your finances is going to show you that you're doing not as good as you think you're doing with money? Or
That might that might be one possibility.
what's another possibility?
I'm used to utilizing money the way I've been. It comes, I use it, and it goes.
Is it is it fair to say you don't want to be held accountable by what you're going to see on the paper?
I think that is a good way to look at it. Accountability. It shows that I'm not being accountable for
Right.
anything.
And this is to yourself really because it's about knowing like you can't fix what you can't track.
Mhm.
And if we're trying to fix this, we need to know what we're trying to fix.
So while we're here now, let me be very open and
Yeah.
honest and transparent right this minute. So my granddaughter had a need. I have a creative mind and I do a lot of party plans and I can create baskets and so short. Anyway, long story short, she has a senior night. She's on volleyball and she has to make the senior basket for her senior co-player. And I said I'd help, right?
Hmm.
And so she's at school and she said, get this, this, and this, three things. Instead of me going and getting those three things, I get six things. The other three she didn't ask for. I just bought them. I'm not going to charge her for it. And I'm going to make a beautiful basket. But that's what I do. And my family says, you always go above and beyond. You do the most, mom and grandmom. You just do too a little bit too much. But that's the way I raised them too. I always was doing too much. But at the time, it was great because they were kids and they were loving it. But I think that lends to the place of my identity in belonging or wanting to be loved in a sense. Now, I know this is going deep, but if we're going to go there, we have to, because this, I feel like these kind of conversations cracked open why people stay stuck and stagnant and can't move forward in their lives in any area. So that's why studied the body, the spirit, and soul as a coach myself.
Hmm.
And so I'm coaching, I'm getting coached and I'm learning. And as you're coaching me today, I'm learning a little bit more about myself. And it's bringing up some emotion. It really is. It's stirring the pot here. And so I would have to just say that there's something about belonging and love that comes along with managing money and finances.
You hit a lot of personal points there, and I want to go deeper on some of them.
Okay.
When your kids, when your granddaughter, or when people said to you within your family, you always go above and beyond, how does it make you feel?
Well, honestly, when I'm doing it, I feel great because I feel like they are going to see that I really care and I'm showing love. And it's going to be the young lady that gets the basket is going to be so happy. And that's what I look for.
Is is that how you received love when you were little?
No, no, I didn't have those things. When I was a little girl growing up, everybody on the block, all the girls had a Barbie doll.
And you
Barbie was
didn't?
being, and I didn't.
Okay. So you're doing the opposite for your kids right now. You want to make sure that they have everything you didn't have in order to feel that mommy or grandma really loves them. And then you feel good when they say yes. You always go above and beyond. You feel validated in saying, yeah, I'm giving them love the way that I would have wanted to receive love.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But how does that make Andrea feel? Not mom or grandma. How does it make Andrea feel?
Well, after it's all said and done, I sit back and reflect, and I don't feel so great because I know at the end of the day that I didn't have to do that to get validation. I didn't have to do that to get love and to belong. I really didn't. Whatever I do, even if it's on a smaller level, I believe anybody and everybody would have said thank you and would have appreciated it. And
Yeah,
that's the one thing that I need to learn. It doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be huge and big. And you don't have to go spend all this money to get a thank you. And I am learning that little by little.
that's great. It's great that you are on this process, on this journey of being the body, spirit, and soul warrior. So you already have these inner conversations and you know. But there's something actually stopping you from doing what you know. Like you know you shouldn't spend that way because it goes against what you say you want to do in life. You want to not be afraid about money. You want to not be scared about money. You want to be prepared for your retirement, but your actions don't go in line with what you say you want to do. So there's something stopping you from doing that.
Yeah. And it again is changing my beliefs about money.
Yeah.
And I think the scariest part is that transition from coming out of my career into being an entrepreneur, which we all know having your own business and developing and building your own business takes time. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of patience, and it takes you not being scared, right?
Yes.
And if I don't have that in the way, right, if I don't have those tools utilizing them right now, I'm saying to myself, how can I actually become that person as an entrepreneur and utilizing finances and money in the way I need to, that benefits me in the way to help me grow my business? Then I'm in two scary positions.
Right.
Trying to transition out of the career and going into being an entrepreneur business owner full time is the scariest part of my existence right now. It's very scary, but I have hope. I'm gonna tell everybody right now, I have hope that why I'm doing this podcast with you today is opening up my heart and my mind to all possibilities, and that I can get this turned around like with anything else in life.
That's beautiful. My first question to you was, do you currently budget? And a lot of people have negative impression about what a budget is. And I think it's John Maxwell who said this, that a budget is not something that's meant to restrict you. A budget is giving you permission to spend your money. But it gives you the permission to spend because you're spending from a place of knowing, like, I want to spend on these things. This is actually how much I have decided ahead of time that I am going to spend on it. And if you, so for example, your granddaughter, let's say the things you were going to buy for her, the things she wanted might have cost you $100 for the things she wanted, but the things you ended up getting her might have cost you $500. If you ended up spending $500, and if you knew ahead of time that I have made up my mind this month, I'm going to spend $500 on giving gifts to people, for example, you wouldn't feel bad after doing it. You'd feel great because you decided ahead of time, I am going to use $500 to give to whoever I want to give to this month. And then it so happened to be a single granddaughter, and you feel good about doing that because you gave yourself permission to do it before you did it.
Yes.
We have to stop being scared of looking at numbers, because that is the only way we can actually act from a position of knowing that we are working in alignment with what we said we want to do. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, thank
Are
you.
you willing to do a budget with me today?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. Income. How much do you make
Yearly,
monthly?
bring home.
Gross.
Well, let me think. See, you gotta think about
You
it,
see?
right? See, I don't put this down on paper. So if I gotta go to a calculator right now and just figure it out.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, let me go to the calculator real quick. 10,000.
How much is your rent or mortgage? Mortgage.
Let's just round it to 1450.
Not bad.
Right.
That's only 14% of your income. It's not bad. Okay. So what's the biggest expense you do?
The biggest monthly expense is my mortgage.
Okay.
Then
All
it's my
right. Cool.
then it's my car payment.
Okay. Car payment, you told me already, it's 536.
Hmm.
What else we have there? Hydro, electricity, water, and utilities as a whole.
I will put utilities at 600 a month.
Does that include your cell phone?
Yes.
Okay. All right. What else?
Oh,
Food?
it doesn't include my cable, which is another $80.
Okay. Do you watch TV?
Yes.
Okay. Food.
400 a month
Is that an estimate or that's a number you know?
estimate.
I can bet it's double that.
Okay.
But you'll check.
Especially because I eat out a lot.
Okay, it's definitely more than 400 then.
Yep. So
Let's say it's 400. Should I double it?
they double it. Double
Let's double
it.
it.
Yes.
That's the area where a lot of people be like, I only spend $500. Someone like, okay, let's actually go check. And it turns out it's like two and a half times what they said. It's like, really? Is that how much I spend on food? Like,
So
yeah.
you can't guess on these things. You have to write it down. You have to really know, right?
You have to really know. But roughly we're doing it here. Okay, so this is food, and I'm actually doubling what you said. You said 400, we're putting down 800. What else?
I've invested a lot in my education in regards to being a health and life coach. and my courses that I take. So currently, I have a course that is a monthly, and right now it's we'd say 550 for the next 12 months. I just hired a VA, and that's 400 a month.
Okay. That's of those the VA and the course, those will both go as business expenses, which will have to be deducted against your business income or your on the tax side of things anyway. Because my accountant brain just comes up like, oh, those are tax deductions. But yeah, keep going. So there's 400 for the VA, 550 for personal development.
hmm Right now, I've had some out of pocket expenses, and it's not much in regards to my health insurance.
Hmm.
And so life is 200, and then health is about 80 times 4, 240.
A month.
Yeah.
240 a month. That seems to be high.
Well, the plan that I have is through a privately owned and a place that I work for, so it is high.
Okay. And anyway, well, those are things you can look at. Like when you actually put down those numbers and you start to compare them with certain other things, you can see what you're overpaying on, but you can only know by putting down your numbers,
Okay.
right? Okay. Is there any other thing that we haven't covered in the list of expenses that you're aware of?
Yes, there are multiple organizations that I fund and I don't use, such as, well, a couple of them are charity.
Mm-hmm.
So, like one is 16, one is another 16. But if I
1,600 or $16?
$16 a month.
Okay.
Charities, 1616. There are a couple of organizations that I fund that I thought I was going to be using for information. And so I have about four of those, and we can just round it to 20 a month. So 20 times four is 80.
80. Okay. So there was a 16 times 2, and so that's 112. All right. Anything else you could think of that we haven't covered here?
I think we've covered everything, but that's it.
These are your recurring monthly.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm going to do a quick rundown here. You see, it wasn't that hard, right? You kind of know the numbers.
And I'm being open to the world. A very vulnerable place to be, but it is good because it's going to help me in the long run.
Yeah. Okay, that's just over $5,000 a month.
That's it.
That means that's it. It's just over 5,000 a month.
But that's my overall. That's not my take home. So I get,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
yeah,
So take home would be
I'd say 30%. If you took the 10 and minus the 30%, that's what my take.
so 7,000. Okay. So let's say your take home is 7,000. That's about 2,000 left over every single month. And we did this budget reversed. This is just on the fly, just writing down what you actually spend right now, give or take. Okay, so we haven't allocated anything to just extra lifestyle expenses, anything that you just want to spend on. Right. But when you actually go to create an actual budget, there is a process to doing it. And I'm going to give you that information before we wrap up here. But what we looked at roughly putting down these numbers and doubling the food, you still have about 1,900 a month at the end of at the end of your expenses that you should be able to then allocate to the things that matter to you. Like what are your goals? If that is creating your business, like what do you need to put aside every single month so that you can start funding that lifestyle that you want? We're a little bit late in the journey, but it's never too late to start.
That's what I needed to hear. It's never too late with my age. It's never too late with my habits and my identity and my beliefs. It's never too late to be able to change.
It's never too late. The KFC guy, wasn't he like 75 when he started his KFC thing? So you're a baby.
There you go. Love it. Thank you.
Right? It sounds more scary than it actually is in terms of looking at your numbers. Now, what story the numbers are going to tell you could be a completely different thing. But like actually putting down the numbers, it's something you just have to do in order to give yourself that information that you need to then make the decisions you want to make.
Well, you just helped me today because I've been struggling with this for some weeks now. And I kept telling myself, you need to know, you need to know. But this has helped me to go ahead and say, it's okay because The number you just gave me that's left over, I wouldn't imagine that. I would have thought it was much less than that. Even see how you see. So now you've showed me something that I can really say. Okay, now really go look at your numbers. It's not that scary, Andrea, and put them down and see exactly how much you have left over, and then from there plan. Right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to take that a step further. So I want you to actually look at your past 3 months of expenses. Credit card statements, bank statements, whatever thing you can put lay your hands on that would show you what you've actually been spending. Pick them up and broadly categorize every single thing you see on them. So I'm sure you would be able to download your statement from your download an Excel maybe from your online banking account, and you just roughly put, okay, restaurant, or like meals, and you're just putting down the line, and then you can total that and see what you actually spend on each of those things. So you're doing two things. Number one is putting down these actual numbers to see what you think your expenses are and seeing that you should be having 1900 at the end of every month.
Hmm.
And then you do the second step of it, which is go to the last 3 months of activities on your banking and credit card and just plug in those broad categories of it based on what we have here: utilities, cable, food, um, business expenses, VA, insurance. Put all of those, and you would see what it actually is. Hopefully, it's not so different from these numbers we have here, but at least it's going to tell you what you're spending the 1900 every month on that you currently maybe don't know, but I think you know. It's probably on the extra giving, like you just talked about for your granddaughter.
Yeah.
And now it becomes a conscious decision. How much do I actually want to spend on giving people every single month? Because if that's core to who you are, we don't want to take that away from you, right? We can't say stop doing this for people because it makes you feel good doing it. You want to do it and you can afford to do it. But it's about how much do I really want to spend on these, and knowing that what you give to your family or friends or that it's not what's going to determine how acceptable or how much you belong. That's not the measure of your love to them.
Hmm.
If that's what it is, if that's how they decide that Andrea loves us, then that's not a good relationship.
Right.
Because it's like there's a guilting element to it, like we're gonna love you if you do this for us, but I don't think that's the case.
It's
It's
not.
probably just a story you've told yourself, and you think that that is what they need to see that that you love them.
Hmm.
But when you do it, you go back and you feel bad about it
Yeah.
sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah. And that's a great point that I really had an aha moment just now is that if I would have gotten just what my granddaughter wanted me to get and made the basket, it would have been just as great. The
Yes.
young lady's still going to love it. And it would be all of her idea and not grandma putting spices in it, like, you know what I'm saying? So that
Yeah.
was my just aha moment. Because when my daughter found out, because she was with me and she said, Mom, you need to take those back. And maybe I will. Maybe I'll just take those back.
She hasn't used them yet.
No, I just bought them.
Ah, okay. Well, now you have the option, right? You know, if you only got her what she wanted, she would still be very happy. That was already a gift from you. She didn't give you the money to go do it. She said, "Grandma, get this for us," and you did. And now it's just the extra step of how much do I really want to spend on this? Having that permission, that budget to go and do it, and then you do it.
I
And
like
now when we figured out actually how much do you have besides just that process of doing the 3 month exercise is going to tell you so much about yourself than you currently know.
okay.
It's going to paint a picture for you like, do I actually spend that much on XYZ? And now it you would go through the process of like, but why? Why do I do it this way? I am probably more seeking of acceptance, and I'm using air quotes here, than I realize. So this is a problem I actually have to deal with.
Yeah.
I have to figure out a different way of expressing love without bankrupting myself, because that's not what matters. That's not how they receive love from me.
Yes. Makes a lot of sense. And I'm really enjoying having this conversation today.
What's coming up for you?
Well, sometimes our minds go back to, I wish I could have had this information and did so many different things. But in the interim, thinking about it, like you said, it's never too late. As long as I have the hope that it's never too late, that's the point of this conversation for me. It's never too late. I can still get this done.
Yeah. And once you've created that awareness for yourself and you decide on what your next steps are going to be, your goals are going to inform what those next steps will be. If building the business is the most important thing for you, then you know where to put your money. Alex Omozi, one of the people I really listen to, he talks about if you have a certain amount, let's say you have $500 to spend on something, what's the best investment you can do with that? Is in yourself. It's not in the stock market. It's not in uh, the next whatever big thing. It's in how can I improve me so that I can get an even better ROI, return on investment, on this particular thing. And so it's great you're already doing the courses. It's great you're already doing those little things. Getting a VA that's going to help you to take away some of the repetitive work that you can outsource to somebody. It's great you're already doing those things. But once you've created that awareness and you know what it is that your goals are, it will guide your next steps on where you should be investing the money that you would free up from doing this exercise.
Amen.
Amen.
I believe that. Thank you so much.
I'm very honored that you accepted to come on here and share and be vulnerable with us and be an example for other entrepreneurs, because a lot of people struggle with that, and I think we've got something holds us back from seeking out that information that we don't know. So I do appreciate you for doing this.
And I thank you for giving me the opportunity because you probably won't know the magnitude that you've helped me today, but you have. And I'm sure that there are other people out there in the world that can contest of how you've helped them. So I thank you, Ida, for all that you're doing and all that you're going to do.
My honor. Is there anything else you wanted to let our audience know today?
No, I just want to say to remember that it's never too late.
It's never too late. Amazing. Thank you so much, Andrea.
Oh, man. God bless.